Hello! This fella has devoted himself to one goal, sacrificing his interests and even relationships with people to achieve it, but he has yet to face the choice to let go of the past and compromise his principles. Let's see if it'll be worth it. A man in a long leather cloak is doing the splits on 2 stones in the middle of the square, like some kind of street performer. He's standing very still, trying to stay calm, even though a little boy is provoking him. The kid is eating an ice cream cone in front of his face, and then even begins urinating. People are starting to crowd around them, but the scene is interrupted by a man in glasses with a suitcase running from a group of people in suits who knock the boy down and trample on his ice cream. The street performer stops his show and follows them, catching up with the group in an alley. The gang is ready to deal with the man who is already lying on the ground. The athlete pushes through the men and enters the center of the crowd.
Who stepped on my ice cream?
He gets into an unequal fight, but turns out to be a true master of Kung Fu. None of the dozen or so opponents are a problem for him and his extraordinary combat boots, and the bandits are scattered to the sides by his precise and powerful strikes. The rescued man immediately offers money to the martial arts master in his gratitude, but the man walks away without even turning in his direction. The martial artist returns to the square to see the boy, when suddenly they are surrounded by more men in black suits. Their leader approaches the hero and turns out to be an old acquaintance of his. The men embrace and go out to celebrate their reunion. The leader of the men in suits, Zhang, calls the hero his brother and asks about the health of their old master. The athlete, Wu-Lin, shows him an urn with the ashes, and the other man mourns deeply for his master. Later, Zhang watches Wu-Lin's training with envy. He recalls his childhood in which the teacher accused him of trying to steal the very mysterious iron shoes that Wu-Lin now wears. For this, the boy was banished from the clan.
There is no room for an unworthy person like you. I don't want to see you.
We're taken to a gloomy room with cages and weapons on the walls. The sinister Mr. Foe is sitting on his throne.
The only fate for traitors is extermination.
The poor guy is quickly killed with a shot to the head, and his body is fed to the tiger. Zhang shows his brother his bodyguard training company, where he teaches the bodyguards kung fu skills. Mr. Li, the same man whom Wu-Lin saved in the alley, arrives. Zhang shows him his best fighters, including a giant who can smash stone slabs with his head. But Li is only interested in Wu-Lin, who is sitting away from the others. The hero accepts the job. Zhang warns him and reminds him of the bodyguard's covenant to be loyal to his employer. Zhang promises to help Wu-Lin, but still looks enviously at his iron boots again. Li and Wu-Lin arrive at a nightclub. There, they find Mr. Li's daughter, who has been drinking and just had an argument with some men. Now they're dragging her somewhere. Wu-Lin immediately knocks out the hooligans. In the morning, the girl wakes up in her house. She steps out of the shower as if nothing had happened, when suddenly she bumps into Wu-Lin, who is doing the splits in the middle of the room. Fei tries everything she can to get him to give up his job and leave her alone, buying Wu-Lin out, threatening him with a gun, insulting him. But the hero remains loyal to Mr. Li and responds to the girl with facts from her biography.
Character spoiled, reckless, stubborn, arrogant, despotic. Hobbies are shopping, shopping, and shopping.
Fei is frustrated and keeps trying to hit the bodyguard. He has no driving license, so the girl is behind the wheel. The two arrive at the mall, where the girl sets Wu-Lin up, causing a scuffle with men she doesn't know again. She slaps them in the face and expects the bodyguard to rush into the fight. But Wu-Lin only watches as the girl runs circles around him, escaping the bullies. He wants to teach her a lesson, and only helps after she apologizes. After sunset, Fei tries to find the bodyguard's weaknesses again and sends her friend to seduce him, but she does not succeed either. Wu-Lin is sleeping in the house doing the splits, and Fei is in her bed. We are shown their dreams. Nightmares in which the girl finds her dead mother, and the boy walks hand in hand with a man who throws him into an abyss off a huge cliff. Both wake up, and at the same time, masked men are approaching the house. They see that the house is guarded and decide to retreat. Meanwhile, their leader, Mr. Foe, feeds the tiger and once again sacrifices one of his subordinates, who is trying to convince him of the inevitability of fate. Fei is having lunch at an expensive restaurant. Wu-Lin keeps a close eye on the staff. When wine is brought to the table, Wu-Lin suddenly grabs the waitress and puts her face down on the table. It seems as if he's gone completely insane. Maybe there's something wrong with the wine. Wu-Lin's strange behavior results in Fei-Fei running off to the bathroom, calling him a redneck and a barbarian. Wu-Lin carries the struggling girl out on his shoulder, but doesn't manage to keep her steady and drops her. Turns out, his suspicions were not unfounded. The guys on the street stand up for the young woman, and this gives the kidnappers time to do their job. While the bodyguard is distracted, they grab Fei-Fei and drag her into a minivan. But Wu-Lin is there just in time. He follows them, catches up with the car and smashes through the windshield with his boots, saving the girl from the criminal's hands. Later at home, Wu-Lin explains that he read the body language of the restaurant staff and saw a lot of suspicious things there apart from that. This impresses the girl. She tells him that she has been protected by bodyguards since her very childhood, which is why she dislikes them so much, and suggests that Wu-Lin change his clothing style.
No, I still prefer my style.
You're as stubborn as my father.
Fei-Fei does not like her father's overprotection. In the evening, she cries over a family photo, reminiscing of her mother. She cuts her father's face out of the picture. Meanwhile, Mr. Fo's assistant is recruiting Jiang. The man accepts the job and the certain sacrifice associated with it. Wu-Lin recalls his childhood and his teacher. The master highlights his unique physical abilities and teaches the young man the style of the iron leg and 108 kicks. As he dies, he gives the disciple his final lesson.
Use it well. Keep the tradition going.
In the flashback, we also see Jiang, with whom they train as equals. Wu-Lin suddenly realizes that his brother's bodyguards are involved in the kidnappings. The two meet on a balcony. Jiang asks if a man can change, to which Wu-Lin remarks that his brother has already changed a lot. Jiang wants to convert the huge old factory into a bodyguard facility and glorify the iron leg style. He orders Wu-Lin to stop guarding Mr. Li's daughter and not to ask unnecessary questions, but Wu-Lin is loyal to those he protects and demands answers. Jiang becomes furious and wonders if Wu-Lin has fallen in love with the girl. He is still resentful that the master only passed on the secrets of the style to Wu-Lin, and he in turn did not reveal them to his brother either, though he had promised to do so. Their disagreements are irreconcilable, and the master's disciples engage in combat. The opponents are equal in strength, and Jiang walks out of the fight saying that they are no longer brothers. This hurts Wu-Lin. However, the man stays true to himself and continues to guard the girl. At the same time, he also tries to understand why his brother has changed so much. He again recalls episodes from his childhood.
Success requires sacrifices.
Don't hate your daddy, because success requires sacrifice.
The bodyguard takes Fei-Fei far away, so they won't be found by the kidnappers. Wu-Lin suggests that she lie low and wait for the news from her father. Jiang, on the other hand, recalls his hard youth in the slums, in which he had to fight hard to survive. Until one day, a mysterious man in a Mercedes, Fo, offered him a job. The girl finally asked the hero about his strange shoes directly. It turns out that they weigh 25 kilograms each, and he has to wear them for 10 years without ever taking them off. She also asks him to teach her kung fu techniques. Wu-Lin agrees.
Hey, hi! Wake up!
Fei-Fei worries if the dozing bodyguard is dead. She can't hear his heartbeat. This is when we learn another interesting fact. His heart is on his right side. The young man and woman grow very close, spending carefree days at the seashore. In the meantime, the mob gets to Mr. Li. The boss, Fo, admits that he killed Li's wife and was waiting for the old man to take revenge. Jiang now stands among the criminals.
What do you want? You are dying. I won't do anything to you, but I will let you watch your daughter die.
Fo reveals the secret of his success in the world of crime. He has never been afraid to sacrifice others. Wu-Lin realizes that he will not hear from Master Li again, and remembers the promises he made. Again, the words of his old master resound in his mind.
Hate will only bring more hatred.
How will the hero use his power? Jiang is training when he is informed of Wu-Lin's whereabouts, and sends his subordinates after him. They cannot defeat the master in a fair fight, so they must use cunning. The number advantage allows the bandits to steal the girl. Wu-Lin catches up to the criminals in a hangar, where he is immediately trapped. His leg is chained up. He frees himself and dodges all enemy attempts to pierce and chop him with a sharp blade. Finally, a worthy opponent, a giant, lifts the hero into the air and smashes him onto the floor. Now both of Wu-Lin's legs are shackled by the enemies, but the man continues to fight even in that condition, although he takes a lot of hard blows. He is almost knocked out but manages to stay on his feet nonetheless. The enemy's unfair techniques do not stop there. They throw the hero at a running car, breaking through a wall out into the street. The bleeding Kung Fu master is defeated, and Jiang, who Wu-Lin thought was his brother, punches him straight into a freshly dug grave. The hero is buried alive. Using his experience of heavy breath-holding training, Wu-Lin literally rises from the dead and digs himself out of the afterlife. A wall of rain washes the earth and dirt off the hero. Wu-Lin watches the tape that Mr. Lee gave him in case something bad happens to him. In it, he addresses his daughter. Lee has 4th-degree cancer, and before he dies, he wants revenge on his wife's killers. Lee wants to shield her from his dangerous affairs and wishes her a peaceful and happy future. Yet the girl is a prisoner of the mafia now. All her life, she has been suffering from her father's ambitions and conflicts. Wu-Lin makes a symbolic sacrifice and gets rid of his metal boots and long hair. Jiang, on the other hand, pulls out his metal gloves, angrily remembering his brother's broken promises to teach him the technique of 108 kicks. Wu-Lin also changes his clothing style. He's almost unrecognizable in a suit and sunglasses. He goes straight to the bandits' hideout. There, he clashes with a whole army of bodyguards. But his legs are no longer held back by the weight. He floats like a butterfly and kicks his enemies like a jackhammer. Even metal shields are bent by his blows. An old acquaintance is waiting for him in the next room, the Giant, who, however, is no longer a problem for our hero. Finally, Wu-Lin faces the head of the mafia. It turns out to be his own father. Fo had thrown him off a cliff because he feared his son's abilities. Wu-Lin's father listened to an elder man who, in a prophecy, linked together Wu-Lin's mother's death and childbirth, Fo's own failures in life and the boy's abilities, who once scared away a wolf with a plain look. As it turns out, it was Fei-Fei who the boy saved from the beast then. For their fathers had long been engaged in criminal affairs together. Fate repeats itself. Fo sacrificed his own son for his own well-being, became a mafia boss, and went into hiding for 15 years. Wu-Lin, however, survived and is standing before him, and even now, Fo does not admit his mistake.
If I were not so cruel, had you been so strong now?
The father could not escape his fate. His son, he orders to shoot him on the spot. Just in time, Jiang saves Wu-Lin with his iron hand. He says that the evil Fo once saved him from poverty. Yet he is not going to be his personal thug forever, and by abandoning his brother, he has fully repaid his debt. Jiang asks Wu-Lin to share the secrets of the Iron Leg style, and after not receiving an answer, throws himself into a fight. Wu-Lin emerges victorious, though Fo does not let him enjoy his victory and shoots Jiang. Before he dies, he and his brother finally forgive each other. Wu-Lin lunges at his father in rage, but is also shot, and right through the heart. That's not the end of the story though. As we remember, the young man's heart is located on his right side. Wounded, he comes up to his father to finish off this ruthless scoundrel. But that's exactly what the villain wants.
Go ahead. Kill me.
Again, the father blames his son for the deaths of all the people closest to him. Wu-Lin does not want to be like him and decides to spare the man. He leaves, ignoring his father's curses and the inevitability of fate. Fei-Fei, on the other hand, says goodbye to her father at his grave and promises to grow up. Wu-Lin scatters the ashes of his teacher. He follows the master's teachings instead of his father's. The hero chooses to see hope rather than darkness in the world. As always, you'll find the movie title in the description of the video. In the meantime, share your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe in fate? And one's ability to resist it? Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so future awesome retellings come out as often as possible.